This build is far from being budget friendly, but I'm here to show you the best builds in-game without exceptions. That doesn't mean it's not working properly with a budget friendly gear. Recommendations for that and all kinds of questions are and will be answered on a specific thread by Matt on the PoE forum. You can also ask your questions in the comment section of this video and I will do my best to answer all of them. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to not miss any new builds. Without further ado, lean back, relax and let's get started. This build guide contains build showcase, disclaimer, content overview, equipment, gems, jewels and abyss jewels, flasks, skill tree, ascendancy points, Pantheon powers, bandit choice and some gameplay footage. Before we jump into the equipment section of this video, you have to ask yourself what type of content do you want to farm. In this video I will give you several gear options to fill your needs in terms of equipment to make sure you are able to farm successfully. Are you going to farm low tier, mid tier or even high tier maps up to endgame bosses? Do you want to farm a headhunter through doctor cards in burial chambers or more like elder influenced shape tier 16 maps? No matter what type of content you want to farm, you will have to adjust your gear depending on the difficulty. Remember, the harder the content gets, the more survivability you will have to bring on the table. Don't worry, we got you. To start things off, I'd recommend using a Zirconia's head as it gives us high survivability and some great damage mods. Light Poacher is also a great option if you're able to get 2 Abyssal Sockets 1. If you really wanna go fast in low tier mapping, you should get yourself a Devoto's Devotion for attack speed and movement speed. You can also use a rare helmet to fill in resistance stats you might need. Get one of the following enchants on your helmet: additional tornado shot projectiles, additional barrage projectile, increased tornado shot damage, increased barrage damage, or lightning arrow hits 2 additional enemies. WINDRIPPER is what the guide is based on. Increased quantity and increased rarity makes it very tasty. Chinsol is our offhand weapon if you're looking to take down higher level bosses quickly. The Tempest is what you'll be using for leveling or can't afford the WINDRIPPER yet. A Rigwald's Quills is definitely the best option, followed by Harry's Demise if you're looking for a damage focused quiver. If you play Standard League, the Fracturing Spinner quiver comes in very handy for players who need resistances and strength. A rare quiver should have life, elemental damage with attacks, crit multiplier and attack speed. If you can afford a shaped quiver, additional era, life, elemental damage with attacks, crit multiplier and attack speed is what you're looking for. Queen of the Forest is the best option if you want to go fast. Evasion stacking with Flasks is overpowered. Eerie's Fostering is the best option if you want to kill bosses with this character, only downside is summoning the Roa. Chaos Heart is the best option if you like high HP pulls, but you will lack a lot of evasion. Shroud of the Lightless is a second option instead of Aerials, providing you with free penetration and an Abyss Jewel slot. At Series Equity provides us with a lot of intelligence, crit and Vault Pack to save points on the tree so you can get more damage and life. Sadima's Touch is superior in terms of increased quantity for low tier mapping since we don't really need a lot of stats. Rare Gloves should be used for bossing content if you're looking for life, flat elemental damage, attack speed, accuracy, resistances or stats you might need. Commandment of Fury is the best glove enchant for us. If you want to farm bosses and higher tier mapping, I'd recommend using Dark Ray Vectors. Goldworms provide a lot of increased quantity for lower tier mapping. Rare Boot should have life, resistances, movement speed and elemental damage with attack skills. Enchant your boots prioritized in the following order: increased attack and cast speed if you've killed recently, damage leached as life and mana if you've killed recently, flat lightning damage if you haven't killed recently, or damage penetrates elemental resistances if you haven't killed recently. Headhunter, enough said. Bisco's Leash is a great belt that gives us quantity and rampage. If you're looking for a rare belt, get a nice Stygian Visor or regular belt with life, resistances and elemental damage with attack skills. Bisco's Collar is a very sweet magic finding amulet, tons of item quantity and rarity. If you can't afford a Biscos or prefer to use a rare amulet, look for intelligence, crit multiplier, crit chance, life, resistances and flat cold or lightning damage. A rare Shaper amulet with quantity plus any of the other rare amulet mods should be better than a new Biscos. If you don't need the resistances, the Perea with a white socket is an awesome ring for us. If you rather go with Winter's Gamble, try to get above 5% quantity followed by positive stats. A rare Opal ring with life, resistances, elemental damage and stats you might need if you want to run a level 21 Wrath. Before we get into the gem section, I want to let you know that there are several gem linking options and different skill setups listed in that thread on the Path of Exile forum. Links are given in the description below. This is just one option I really liked. In our helmet we will socket Blink Arrow, fast attack support, cast when damage taken support and Immortal Call. This will be our mobility skill with a cast when damage taken setup. In our main hand we will socket Tornado Shot, greater multiple projectile support, elemental damage with attack support, Ice Bite support, added cold damage support and Mirage Archer support. This will be our map clearing skill. In our body armor we will socket Barrage, Ice Bite support, added cold damage support, elemental damage with attack support, elemental focus support and slower projectile support. This will be our boss killer. In our gloves we will socket Herald of Ice, Curse on Hit support, Assassin's Mark and Onslaught support. Time to shatter and shine. In our boots we will socket Grace, Summon Ice Golem and Lighten support and Portal. Lionel's Fall is a very strong unique jewel for us. It turns melee weapon type modifiers to bow modifiers. We're gonna use this jewel to obtain Soul Rake and other useful nodes. If you can't afford a Headhunter, you could still use an Inspired Learning to get at least a bit of a Headhunter feeling. In terms of regular jewels, prioritize in the following order: life percentage, attack speed with bows, attack speed, crit multiplier and resistances or stats you might need. Abyss jewels gives us a really nice damage boost. Prioritize in the following order: flat life, flat elemental damage to attacks or bow attacks, attack speed, crit multiplier and resistances or stats you might need. For Flasks we got several options. Dying Sun gives us increased area of effect and 2 additional projectiles besides a ton of fire resistance. The Wise Oak would be a great flask if you are somehow able to balance it. Series Promise and the Vessel of Winkta are great flasks as well, but since Abyss jewels got introduced into the game, they are not essential anymore. In terms of magic flasks you want to have a Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline for insane movement speed, a Diamond Flask of Heat for freeze and chill immunity, a Jade Flask of Warding for curse immunity, and a Stibnite Flask of Staunching for bleed immunity. A detailed skill tree plan, leveling advices and gear choices while leveling are listed in Matt's thread on the Path of Exile forum. Links are given in the description below. Should you go Raider or Deadeye? Here is what Matt came up with. Deadeye is faster, Tailwind is a more multiplier, works like an acceleration shrine or the opposite of temporal chains. But Deadeye lacks attack speed and elemental damage that Raider gives, which is why Raider will always come out on top for endgame for this build. With that being said, if you want to farm low or mid tier maps all day like Shaped Buried Chambers, go Deadeye. If you want an all-rounder character that can do all content, pick Raider. He enjoys playing Raider because of elemental immunity. That means we only need a bleed and the curse immunity flask and the rest is evasion focused. As a league starter you should go Deadeye and then switch to Raider if you want to progress further into high tier maps. Deadeye is just the same as a Raider in terms of gear, skill tree wise it's a little different. If you choose to play as a Raider, you will prioritize your Ascendancy points in the following order: Way of the Poacher, Quartz Infusion, Avatar of the Whale, and Avatar of the Slaughterer. If you choose to play as a Deadeye, take Gathering Winds, Far Shot, Ricochet, and Endless Munitions. For our Pantheon powers we are going to use a maximum upgraded Soul of Lunaris as our Major God for physical damage reduction, increased movement speed and some layers of defense, and an upgraded Soul of Shakari as our Minor God for reduced chaos damage taken with poison immunity. You can either choose between killing all bandits for 2 additional skill points or help Alira for crit multiplier and some needed resistances. In the end it's personal preference. Thanks for watching my video. I would greatly appreciate your support with a simple like on this video, your thoughts and feelings about the content itself in a comment. On top of that, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more videos from me in the future. It is totally free, so become a part of our great community. A big thanks to Matt for creating the guide and providing me with the footage for our project. If you want to see some badass Headhunter Windripper footage, check out his channel. Take care and have a great day.